We've never been smarter, and yet we've never trusted less. We built machines that think faster than we do, but we doubt our own minds. What if knowledge itself became the enemy of truth? Welcome to the paradox. We live in the most informed era in human history, a time when we can map the human genome, send probes beyond the solar system, predict hurricanes before they strike, and generate new images, voices, and languages using artificial intelligence. We carry in our pockets a machine that connects us instantly to more information than the greatest library of the 20th century. And yet, we don't trust it. We don't trust them, the experts, the scientists, the data. A strange paradox defines our age. The more knowledge humanity gathers, the more people seem to doubt it. We live surrounded by the fruits of science, yet suspicion towards scientists has become mainstream. Climate change, a hoax, vaccines, a government control tool, artificial intelligence, the end of human creativity, and so on. This is the paradox of science denialism, a quiet crisis of faith in the very system that built the modern world. Think about this for a moment. There has never been a time in history when expertise was more precise, more tested, and more globally accessible. Scientists can collaborate across continents in seconds. Medical researchers sequence a virus in days. AI models learn from billions of examples in hours. We've created what philosopher Peter Drucker once called a knowledge society, where the most valuable resource is not oil, land, or gold, but information itself. And still, trust has fractured. Polls in the US, Europe, and even technologically advanced nations like Japan and South Korea show that trust in scientific institutions is declining. The irony is impossible to ignore. In the 1950s, the average person had no way to verify anything scientists said, yet they believed. Today, you can access every research paper in seconds, yet many say, "I don't trust the science." This is more than ignorance. It's a cultural paradox, a psychological tension between knowledge and identity, between data and belief. To understand the paradox, we have to rewind the story. The Enlightenment of the 17th and 18th centuries gave birth to a new worldview: reason, evidence, and experiment as the foundation of truth. For centuries, progress was tied to the scientific method. By the 20th century, we saw science as the path to utopia, curing disease, ending hunger, conquering space. The post-war world trusted experts. Engineers built the future, scientists built nuclear power, doctors built longevity. We called it the Age of Reason. But then came a shift, subtle at first, then global. The internet democratized information but also fragmented authority. Everyone now had a voice. Everyone could do their own research. And in this new world of endless information, expertise became just another opinion. The same technology that made knowledge accessible also made misinformation unstoppable. The scientific voice was once sacred. A white lab coat symbolized truth. Today it symbolizes, to many, control, manipulation, or elitism. Why? Because authority no longer lives in institutions. It lives in feeds. In the past, you learned from teachers, books, or trusted media. Now you learn from influencers, threads, and comment sections. The new experts are not scientists, but personalities. A confident voice on TikTok, a viral clip on YouTube, or a meme can override decades of research. And here lies the first deep contradiction. The internet gave everyone access to information, but in doing so, it also equalized ignorance and expertise. In a digital democracy of opinions, the scientist's voice and the conspiracy theorist's voice often weigh the same. Science speaks in probabilities. It says, there is a 96% chance this treatment works. Evidence suggests climate change is human-driven. Statistically, vaccines reduce mortality. But humans don't think in probabilities. They think in stories, and stories thrive on emotion. Fear spreads faster than data. Anger feels more powerful than nuance. In the battle for attention, a dramatic lie beats a careful truth every time. So when science communicates uncertainty, people read weakness. When scientists say, we don't yet know, the public hears, they're hiding something. In a world where information moves at the speed of outrage, doubt becomes currency. Thus, paradoxically, the very honesty of science, its willingness to say we could be wrong, becomes its vulnerability. Here's the strange truth. Science denial isn't anti-science, it's hyper-science, twisted inward. People who deny vaccines often cite research, graphs, data, but taken out of context, climate skeptics quote statistics, but selectively or from manipulated sources. AI alarmists cite studies about job loss or consciousness, often written by influencers, not experts. These are people who use the tools of science to fight the conclusions of science. That's the heart of the paradox, using the fruits of reason to justify unreason. It's like a surgeon using a scalpel, not to heal, but to deny the concept of surgery itself. At the heart of the paradox lies a simple psychological truth. Humans crave certainty, not complexity. We evolved to seek patterns, not probabilities. Science, however, thrives on uncertainty. It's built on the idea that knowledge is provisional, that everything can be revised with new evidence. But that humility, the constant questioning, makes science emotionally uncomfortable. It feels unstable, fluid, incomplete. So when faced with complexity, many retreat into simplicity. Conspiracies, dogma, ideology, because simplicity feels safe and certainty feels like control. That's why denial often isn't about facts, but about identity. To reject science can be to assert power. I decide what's true for me. It's not ignorance, it's autonomy. 8. The role of media and politics. Science denial isn't just personal, it's profitable. Media platforms thrive on engagement, and nothing engages like conflict. Algorithms reward outrage, not understanding. A headline that says, "Scientists still investigating details" gets ignored. But a headline that screams, "Scientists lied again," spreads like wildfire. Politicians exploit this too, because if you can make truth relative, you can manufacture loyalty. Climate denial, vaccine skepticism, AI panic, all become political identity markers. And so science becomes not a method, but a tribe. Once belief replaces evidence as the test of truth, every debate becomes a battlefield of belonging. Do your own research. It sounds empowering, democratic, free. But in the internet age, research rarely means controlled experiments or peer-reviewed studies. It means searching for confirmation of what we already want to believe. Google becomes a mirror, not a microscope. You don't find truth, you find reinforcement. This is what cognitive scientists call motivated reasoning. The tendency to believe information that supports your identity and reject what threatens it. And so, paradoxically, the more tools we have to learn, the less we learn. We are drowning in data, but starving for meaning. When we laugh at flat earthers or anti-vaxxers, we miss the point. Science denial isn't just about them, it's about us. Every person, even scientists, have moments when belief overrides evidence. We trust our intuition more than statistics. We cling to our side of an argument even where we see its cracks. We are all in some way part of the same paradox. Human beings trapped between knowledge and comfort. Maybe the true paradox is that we use reason to avoid reason. We claim to seek truth, but often we seek confirmation. If this trend continues, the world faces a dangerous feedback loop. Science becomes politicized. Experts are distrusted. Policy ignores evidence. Consequences grow. Pandemics, climate disasters, technological misuse. And when science fails to save us, the distrust deepens again. The loop tightens. This is the existential risk of our information era. We've built a civilization that depends on truth, but no longer agrees on what truth is. Imagine a civilization that builds AI systems capable of self-learning, global communication, and predicting human behavior. But that same civilization begins to deny its own data, disbelieve its own experts, and reject its own evidence. That's not a sci-fi dystopia. That's today. The paradox of science denialism is not a problem of intelligence, it's a problem of trust. And trust is not built by facts alone. It's built by honesty, humility, and connection. Science may never convince everyone, but if we can restore curiosity, the willingness to ask rather than assume, then perhaps we can still bridge the gap between knowledge and belief. Because in the end, humanity's progress has always depended not just on what we know, but on what we're willing to question.